Hello everyone! What have we here? This looks like a King's Quest game. Well, before I go off on my usual behavior and start talking for a century, let's go ahead and just start the game. So, I actually like this little launcher. I know some people might find it annoying the way these buttons make sounds when you mouse over them, but I do appreciate the little touches like buttons that click when you mouse over them to show that you moused over a button, because if if you didn't hear the click, you might not have noticed that you moved the mouse over a button. So let's go ahead and, I know it looks kind of weird right now because the resolution is different, but when I hit play game, it should look correct. Let's go ahead and play the game. And, oh yeah, it doesn't automatically, hold on, there we go. That should work. Okay, now it's picking up the game. All right, so disclaimer, King's Quest is copyrighted by Sierra Entertainment Incorporated and is used with permission. King's Quest is a trademark I've registered. Okay, actually, you can read this if you want. I'm not going to read this whole thing aloud. Oh boy. Oh boy, this is a whole different kind of adventure. Yeah, so this of course is a fan-made remake of that game. And yeah, so here we go. So let's go ahead and watch the introduction, because in the first King's Quest there wasn't really an introduction. You just kind of started the game outside that castle and you had no idea what was going on. But let's watch the introduction. Maybe we can see something interesting here.
You are Sir Graham, the bravest and most honorable knight in the troubled realm of Daventry. King Edward the Benevolent, aged ruler of Daventry, has summoned you to the castle for reasons unknown.
Greetings, Sir Graham. The King is expecting you. Allow me to escort you to His Majesty's throne room.
Thank you, Sir Knight.
Raise the portcullis.
I am at your service, my king.
I am an old man, Sir Graham. Perhaps too old to carry the weight of this crown. My bones ache, and my hands tremble. I am afraid my time on earth grows short. But enough about me. Great misfortunes have befallen Daventry since the loss years ago of 3 magical treasures. I have chosen you, the finest knight in all of Daventry, to search for these lost treasures. Only then can this kingdom be restored to its former glory. And only then may I rest with the knowledge that my people are safe. The first treasure is a magic mirror that foretells the future. The second is a magical shield that protects the bearer from all mortal harm. The third and last is an enchanted chest that is forever filled with gold. I know that what I ask is difficult, nay, perhaps impossible. The dangers are many, but you are brave and pure of heart. That is why I chose you to volunteer. If you succeed, you will inherit my crown and rule the realm of Daventry as her rightful king. Go, Sir Graham, and know that the fate of Daventry lies in your hands.
Take heart, my king. I shall not fail you.
I think I chose you to volunteer as kind of a contradiction in terms, isn't it? If somebody chooses autonomously to volunteer, you can't choose someone else to volunteer. But maybe, yes, we shouldn't question his judgment. He's a king. And let's take a look at the credits. Yes, of course, the original King's Quest was designed by Roberta Williams. Wonderful Greensleeves music. Wonderful reworking of Greensleeves. Yes, of course, the original game was by Sierra Online, and this is the remake by AGD. And yes, it is an AGS game, Adventure Game Studio, that big blue coffee cup logo that you might have seen if you have played other such games. Did somebody really named Wolfgang Abenteuer beta test this game? Because Abenteuer actually means adventure in German. I have the feeling that may have been a false name. And yes, Josh Mandel. Notice that Josh Mandel appears in the voice actors. Josh Mandel is the voice of King Graham. Sorry, he's not yet King Graham. He's... Oops, spoiler, I just gave away the ending. Way to give away the ending of the game in the credits. Sorry. Josh Mandel is the voice of Sir Graham in this game, which is nice because he was the... in memory of Wells Lauren and Stephen Swincer, the adventurers who introduced us to King's Quest. Alright, let's go ahead and begin the game. Continue game is basically restore a saved game, but since we don't have any yet, or shouldn't, let's go ahead and begin. Would you like to play the game without the possibility of encountering dead ends or getting stuck? This is something kind of nice that they put in for people who don't like playing through the entire game and then finding that they got stuck on some point because they forgot something, which was often, of course, a common problem in Sierra games. But perhaps it will come as no surprise to anyone that I'm going to click on No, because I want the actual King's Quest experience.
You have selected to play with dead ends enabled. The game will play exactly the same way as the EGA version of King's Quest I, Quest for the Crown.
That's no good. EGA is too new. I want the CGA version, or the monochrome version, but I'll settle for the CGA version. But EGA is too new. And this doesn't look like EGA. What kind of trick are you trying to pull on us, AGD? Okay, yeah, it may surprise some people that I'm playing this game since, you know, it's a point-and-click, that's cool. The scroll wheel actually scrolls through the different... I didn't even know that happens. I was just idly scrolling the scroll wheel while I was talking, and it turns out that it actually scrolls through the different icons. That's kind of cool. Yeah, a lot of people may be surprised that I'm playing this game because I am known for being somewhat curmudgeonly in this regard. I'm somewhat purist about my Sierra adventure games, and this is obviously not the original King's Quest. It's a remake, and what kind of person plays a remake of such a classic? But, well, there are a few things. This was requested by a friend of mine, so that's one reason why I'm doing this, but really, I'm not necessarily against remakes. A remake can be something very good when it's done well. Most of you know that some years ago I started and never finished a playthrough of the VGA remake of Quest for Glory 2, which I believe was done by these very same people, by AGD. And it's a very good game, but it didn't necessarily jibe with me, and I don't want to talk too much about it now, but it didn't necessarily click with me in the way that it probably clicked with some other people, because they changed a few things with the gameplay that didn't quite resonate with me in the way that... Well, yeah, I don't want to talk about it too much right now because that's kind of getting off on a tangent, but why am I playing this game? Well, because this game is really quite wonderful. These remakes, I'm actually very happy with what they've done with these remakes. They have done a magnificent job with the remakes of these King's Quest games, and I mentioned in a video, a few videos ago, I think a few months ago, I'm not really a gamer in the sense that I enjoy the challenge or try to prove how good I am at a game. I do play games more for the experience of the game, and this game is a wonderful experience. It may not be exactly like the original King's Quest, but it's still a wonderful experience, and let's just appreciate it for what it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, friends and enemies and acquaintances and unknowns, let's play King's Quest, or a remake of King's Quest. Let's just take a look around and see what we can see. So we've got this guard here.
These guards protect the king's castle,
which of course didn't exist in the original game. You had the two stone lions by the sides of the door, And
The portcullis is the only entrance to the king's castle.
and of course, in the original game,
You reconsider the wisdom of returning to King Edward without having recovered Daventry's 3 lost treasures.
in the original game, the front door to the castle was unguarded, and you would just walk in. There weren't these guards here. You just opened the door yourself. So basically, in the original game, you didn't start here in front of the castle. You started here in the next screen over. Yeah, you started on this screen, and you had to walk across this bridge, and then go over here, and then you would find the castle, and now you could, and you didn't have these guards. You just had a door, and you just walked through the door, and boom, you're in the castle. Because the king, I guess Daventry is such a small kingdom that you didn't need guards to guard the king. But this is a bit different, and I'm not going to complain about that. One thing, if there's anything to complain about, one thing that I might carp about a bit is that they obviously must have changed the point system, because in the original game you did get, I think, 1 point for opening the castle door, and then if I remember right, you got 3 points for bowing to the king. And then, funnily enough, you got no points for talking to him, at which point he would tell you the story. But in the original game, you had to do all that yourself. So you were just put outside the castle with no idea what was going on, and you had to figure out the plot yourself, which was easy enough to do if you had the initiative to go into the castle and talk to the king. But of course, I was not the sort of person to go into the castle. I'm not sure what I did the very first time I played this game. I think when I first played this game, I must have been about 6 or 7 years old. But I seem to recall that when I started off here, I didn't want to go into the castle. I said, I want to explore. Let's go off into the forest. Forget the castle. I want to walk off into the trees and see what kind of forest creatures are there. But I think it is expected that most people started the game by going into the castle. But here you don't have a choice. The introduction already has you going to the castle. The game starts with you already outside of the castle. So anyway, let's take a look at this guy.
Scaly, slimy serpents cruise the moat searching for unwary trespassers.
Can we talk to them?
These serpents would rather eat you than talk to you.
Yeah.
That's strange.
Oops.
You don't get an answer.
I do find it annoying the way the dialogue box is clear when you when the speech finishes. Up here in the options, you can choose to change the voice and text. So right now, you see the text and you hear the voiceover. You can switch to only have the voice or only have the text, which is what I would probably normally do if I'm playing by myself. But for this Let's Play, I'm going to leave both the voice and the text on for the very simple reason that well, I guess for a couple of reasons. I did have an experience in the past, specifically with Quest for Glory 4, that some people said they liked the voice acting and would have preferred to hear the original game's voice acting instead of my own. And that of her crabbiness who did the Let's Play with me. But also, in this game, again, they did get... Let's see, do I see that if I... Oh, this is about AGS. Okay, but it's not about... Yeah, it's not about the game. It's not about this game. But yeah, again, Josh Mandel, who voiced King Graham in the original King's Quest games, but, well, not in the very first King's Quest game because it had no voice acting, but he voiced King Graham in the CD talkie version of King's Quest V, which was the first King's Quest to have voice acting, and then in subsequent King's Quests, Graham was voiced by Josh Mandel, and they actually got him back. That's what really is really nice about these games, or one thing that's really nice about these games. They actually got the original voice actor back. He was nice enough to partake in these sort of unpaid fan projects and lend his voice to King Graham, so that's pretty awesome. Also, this is a nice feature. Escape skips walk. So if you turn that on, if you get impatient about Graham walking around, if you want him to walk across the screen like this and you get impatient, you just press escape, and it should, well, theoretically it should. Now it's not working for me for some reason. Did I turn it off? I don't think I did. Why is it not working now? I don't know why that's not working. The way that it's supposed to work is if you get tired of Graham walking around like that, you can just press escape on the keyboard and he just teleports. He just teleports to where he's walking to, which is a nice time saver if you're just impatient, if you get tired of just watching Graham walk around. Might be speedrunners might use that. I wonder how one might speedrun this game, but anyway. I should probably get off the screen and start playing the game.
These stone-faced guards must have been trained not to converse with anybody. They ignore you, Sir Graham.
Which is pretty funny because I seem to recall them talking to me in the introduction, but...
Don't disturb the guard.
Yeah, okay.
The castle walls are carpeted with a thick tangle of vines. The guards do not appreciate people climbing the castle.
Why not? Why not? What if I want to climb the castle? Okay, let's just move on. Let's get off of this screen and see what we can find here. And I think also in the original version of this game you could go up here. So a few things, I mean, I don't want to complain too much because in the past I've done a lot of complaining about the remakes and things like this, and I don't want to complain incessantly again. But one thing that irks me is the changes to the map, because I'm used to going up from the castle, which apparently you can't do anymore. And also, I was going to say, they must have obviously changed the point system. Up here you see you have 0 of 158 points. They must have changed the points scoring system for the game, because as I said, in the original game you got 1 point for going into the castle and then 3 points for bowing to the king. So they must have changed the way that you get points in this game, which, you know, irks me a little bit. I mean, the VGA graphics, the wonderful graphics don't bother me. I'm not going to say, well, the graphics should be only 16 colors, otherwise it's not a proper King's Quest game. It's not about that, and it's, you know, it's not, I mean, you folks know I love the parser. I do enjoy having a parser in an adventure game, and I wish that I could type in some commands here, if nothing else, just to see what response I get. But, okay, point-and-click adventure games are also nice. I mean, you know, it's...
You see a large gray rock.
That is true.
You see...
And can we interact with this rock? Oh, they actually kept that in the game.
The moving rock rolls downhill and right into you. A crushing defeat.
That is awesome. I always thought from the first game that's a bit ridiculous. Why didn't he just push the rock away from himself? Why did he literally roll the rock right into himself? And I appreciate that. I appreciate that they did actually retain that for this game. You know, they could have just reworked it so that he automatically steps behind the rock, or that he pushes it in the other direction or something. But they actually kept it such that if you're standing on the wrong side, you kill yourself, which some people will probably just say is stupid. Some people will say, well, that's dumb. Why would you want to kill yourself? But you know, let's increase Graham's speed a little bit there. There we go. He walks markedly faster now. I'd still like to know why the press escape to skip doesn't work. It's kind of bizarre. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily look and feel stuff. I mean, there's some obviously there are changes to the look and feel with the graphics and the voice acting and the sound and the point and click interface. I can live with that, but it does irk me a bit when they change concrete things like how many points you get for doing different things, or you know, the map layout. I mean, I don't think the map layout has been radically altered, because I do remember that you have this rock when you walk immediately left from the castle. But again, let's not complain too much. I don't want to complain too much. Let's enjoy. Let's experience King's Quest I, folks. Let's roll the rock on this time.
With a small shove, you manage to push the rock a few feet, revealing a shallow hole underneath.
Oh, that sounds a bit... Yes, I often move the rock a bit with a small shove. Okay, let's take a look in here.
There is an intricately carved dagger in the hole.
Oh, nice.
You reach into the hole and grasp the dagger, being careful not to cut yourself.
But where did you store the dagger, Sir Graham? Did you circumcise yourself with that dagger when you put it into storage? All right, let's take a look.
This is a fine silver dagger with a very sharp edge. You can't read the runes on the blade, but it appears to be an elfish dagger of great antiquity.
That's nice.
Be careful, Graham. That blade is very sharp.
I wonder, does the game... Don't try this at home, folks, but I'm just curious. Does the game actually let you...
Be careful, Sir Graham.
Okay. I was going to wonder if this was going to become Doki Doki Sir Graham's Club, but no, apparently it's not. Let's go ahead and continue our adventure. And one thing I think they also changed is the random dangerous monsters, because... oh, sorry, excuse me. In the original game, there were certain screens where a wolf would show up, or an ogre, or things like that, which would just suddenly kill you. I think they may have removed that from this game entirely. This tree's appearance has not been much changed.
This is the biggest oak tree you've ever seen. Its trunk seems to be about 10 feet around, and the thick, sturdy branches look like they could hold many times your weight.
Oh, really? Well, let's put this theory to the test, shall we?
Finding plenty of footholds in the coarse bark of the tree, you easily clamber up the trunk to the branches above.
Okay, and... oh, I like the music here. I like some of the things they've done with the music. Like, apparently, did they just write the music for this one screen? Because you're only on the screen for a few seconds and then you leave, so it seems a bit... I love this music, too. The sound of this music is wonderful.
You're too far away from the nest to see it clearly.
Can I just... because in the original game you had to carefully navigate this tree branch. Can I just bypass that, but just by clicking on the egg with the hand?
You can't reach the nest.
Oh, no. Okay, so they retained that as... whoops! See, that's... I kind of appreciate that. They actually retained that. They didn't just let you automatically move to the egg just by using the hand cursor. You had to actually... you do have to actually walk with the walk cursor, which is something you had to do in the original games. So I appreciate that they did things like that to satisfy purists like me who don't like when they change things in games. Let's try this then. Can we... actually, hold on. Can I save with F5? Yes, I can. Okay, F5 saves, and I assume F7 restores. So, on a tree branch, you could lower a rope or a tree branch, or find something useful to do. Alright. Let's see. What? How is that a fall? Hold on. Is that... yeah, F7 restores. How did he fall? What? Okay, something's wrong here, because he was clearly still on the branch. That is nonsense. That is... okay. I'm suddenly a lot less enthusiastic about how they make you walk along this branch, because it's fine if... yeah, how is that possible? He didn't walk off the branch. Okay, this is getting just a bit annoying now. Okay, I guess I should save in stages. Okay, this is how you make a puzzle like this, or, well, it's not a puzzle, but how you make an activity like this annoying. In the original game, you could see where he was, and if he was about to fall off, you would know why. But here, he's falling off when he's very clearly still on the branch, so that kind of ruins it. That's unfortunate. Yeah, that was not falling off the tree branch. I guess I need to be a bit... am I thinking too two-dimensional? I'm just thinking that as long as his feet are still on some brown pixels, then he's okay. Maybe I need to think in terms of the actual shape of the branch and think that, okay, if he's not like on the I guess I need to actually think a little more 3D. Okay, that's kind of annoying, but alright, can I look at the nest here?
There is a perfect, shimmering golden egg lying in the nest. You carefully lift the golden egg out of the nest. Nothing happens. Oddly enough, this egg has no shell. It's 24-karat gold through and through.
See, and this is another annoying thing about not having a parser. If you click the egg on yourself, the game seems to assume that I wanted to crack open the egg, but what I actually wanted to do was insert the egg, and the game is unfortunately, well, it's a family game, so I guess they wouldn't have programmed that into the game anyway. But I mean, come on, that's just not that's just unfair that I don't even have the possibility to attempt such a thing because no parser. All right, can I walk back without falling off again? No, I did not. I don't think it matters because he survives the fall, so it's not like he actually... it's not like we really need to, but just to do things properly. Let's see if I can manage it. Okay. I was curious if the remake gives you points for climbing down the tree correctly, but it doesn't. So just as in the original game, you can, once you have the egg, you can just fall off the tree with no consequences. It's easier and faster than trying to climb down correctly. All right, let's see. Oh, and here we have...
this is a well-tended carrot patch. The carrots look tempting to a hungry traveler.
Yes, they do. And of course, if you pick up a carrot, then you can carry it around with you. But I'm going to do that later because I seem to recall that if you pick up a carrot, and leave it in your inventory for too long, it spoils after a while and becomes less edible or less appetizing.
Wandering along the banks of the beautiful lake, you see a cute little elf. The small elf seems friendly enough. That's strange. The elf is impressed by your friendliness and responds by handing you an elegant little ring.
I've had me eye on ye, Sir Graham. Methinks you might enjoy this little trinket. For just a wee bit of time it has the power to make ye invisible. May it give ye as much entertainment as ye has given me this day.
With that, the elf vanishes.
What does the elf vanish? What does the elf emphasize the word ye every time? I don't think, among people who actually say ye instead of you, I don't think that's how they speak. But anyway.
You are holding a lovely golden egg. Your hand tingles slightly as you look at this jeweled ring.
Can I use these things upon each other?
Nothing happens. Nothing happens.
Okay, it's a bit disappointing. Well, it's obviously not the kind of game where you get a unique message for every item interaction, but it would have been kind of funny if it was like, you put the ring on the egg and propose marriage to the egg because of the things that you did with the egg. I might as well see what the ring does, but let's go ahead and save since you can only use it once. All right, let's see. Can I put the...
You place the shimmering ring upon your finger. As you rub it, you turn invisible.
That's kind of cool. In this, obviously with the higher color depth afforded by this game, Graham can... you can do this sort of transparency effect, which wasn't really possible in the original. In the original, Graham became kind of interlaced. Every other alternating lines of his character were just removed, and that was how you could tell that he was invisible. But here you can see this sort of see-through effect. I mean, he's not invisible to us, but of course he can't really be because then you wouldn't know where your character is. So anyway. I should probably stop here. I've already been going on for almost half an hour, and I know I've done stuff like that in the past, but I'm going to try to return to my roots. When I first started doing Let's Play videos almost 10 years ago...
The spell to make you invisible has expired, and you are once again visible to dangerous creatures. The ring has now vanished.
Yeah, and I think at this point we're already stuck. Like we can't finish the game. Actually, no. The ring is not required. The ring is not required to finish the game. So I guess you could. I guess we'd still finish without the ring. But I'll go back and restore to the point where we have the ring. So yeah, as I was saying, it's been very close now to 10 years that I started making these Let's Play videos on YouTube. And back then, YouTube videos were limited to 10 minutes. Hard to imagine now because, now you can make YouTube videos of several hours, and people do. I mean, there are several videos that are hours and hours long on YouTube. But, back then we were restricted by necessity to 10 minutes per episode of Let's Play. And it's hard for me to imagine now how you could play a game like that because I've just started this game and I've already been going on for half an hour. So back then you had to talk a lot less. There had to be a lot less talk and a lot more action. Some people might say that the change to being able to make infinitely long videos is not an improvement in that regard. I don't know. I appreciate not being rushed. I appreciate being able to play these games at a leisurely pace. But I do tend to be somewhat rambly, and I guess I've probably done more talking on this video than playing. So on that note, since I'm going to finish off here, one thing I did want to mention, since I mentioned Josh Mandel, another nice game that's recently come out is Leisure Suit Larry Reloaded. And when it first came out, I kind of ignored it because I thought it was just another dumb Leisure Suit Larry successor. If you know the whole story with Leisure Suit Larry, there was Leisure Suit Larry Magna Cum Laude, which Al Lowe was very bitter about. He kind of said that he was kind of bitter that they didn't involve him in the game, that they tried to involve him in the game, but the negotiations kind of fell apart, and so he wasn't involved with the creation of the game, and he didn't really like the result because it had too many mini-games, which is fair enough. I kind of agree with him on that point. And then there was Leisure Suit Larry Box Office Bust, which was, I'll be diplomatic and say it wasn't a very good game. And so then when I heard that there was a Leisure Suit Larry Reloaded, I thought, oh heck, screw that. They've already ruined Leisure Suit Larry. They're making too many redos, too many sequels to Leisure Suit Larry, and they don't have the feel down. That whoever's making these Leisure Suit Larry games now, they don't have a feel for how Leisure Suit Larry should feel, and so I just brushed it off at that. Well, the joke's on me because I only found out recently Leisure Suit Larry Reloaded is not a sequel. It's not another dumb, messed up, botched Leisure Suit Larry cash-in. It is, or it was, written by none other than Al Lowe and Josh Mandel, who are a great team. They are the same guys who designed Freddy Farkas. Some of you might remember I played Freddy Farkas a few years ago, and that I've always loved that game because of the funny dialogue. It has funny jokes. I mean, the text is really funny, and you know, in this remake of Leisure Suit Larry, that comes through as well because it's so funny. It's still at heart it's still the same basic Leisure Suit Larry and the Land of the Lounge Lizards. It is basically another remake of the first Larry game, but the writing is so good. They've done so many funny things with it. It's really a whole new experience. When Leisure Larry is with the prostitute at the top, you know, when he's with the hooker. In the original game, you don't do much except just, I mean, you can look at her and talk to her and get maybe a few lines, but that's about it. But basically, you just kind of go in and do your thing and then leave. But in the Leisure Larry Reloaded, there's this whole like dialogue tree where he's trying to flirt with her and trying to get her excited, which obviously is, I think it's not what you really do with a prostitute, but he's talking to her and it just is not working. But it's so funny. Like there's one line where he, like after they're finished, he says, "So did I ruin you for other men?" And she replies, "Well, you ruined my day, if that makes you feel better." It's so good. There's so many. It's just one funny line after another, and it's really, I'm really happy that it was done, of course, by Al Lowe, who, of course, if anybody should know, certainly knows the original feel, like the original mood of Leisure Suit Larry. And then with Josh Mandel on the team, it's so good because he's such a funny guy. He's such a great writer, and I don't know exactly what his contributions were to the game. I assume he wrote a lot of the dialogue and a lot of the text for the game. So, but it's really good. So if anybody out there likes Leisure Suit Larry and the Land of the Lounge Lizards, I recommend checking it out because it's amazing. It's cool. It's really good. And yeah, again, Josh Mandel is also the guy who voices Graham in this game and the other AGD remakes of King's Quest. So yeah, so I'm really happy that I'm really happy about this game. Actually, I mean, again, I will find some things to carp about. I'll find some things to complain about and say, well, this isn't like in the original game. That is very bad. But I want to emphasize I do really love these games. I'm such a purist that sometimes I get upset about things that have changed. But at the end of the day, it's a great game, and I'm very happy that it's here and that it's been released so generously been made and released for free, and that we can all play it and enjoy it. So I'm happy about this. I'm happy to be playing this game. And again, if you like the Larry games, then check out Leisure Larry Reloaded. It's really cool. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and stop here. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope that this will be a good Let's Play and that we'll have some fun with it. I will catch you in the next episode. Until then, thanks for watching, everyone. Take care, and if you're watching this on the day of release, then have a good Christmas, if you observe Christmas, and if not, have a good happy holidays or time of year or whatever. And yeah, I'll talk to you folks later. Bye-bye for now.